Many people make so many mistakes when applying for the Global Talent Endorsement. I'll be highlighting the 5 main mistakes a lot of people make when applying for the Tech Nation or the Global Talent Endorsement, so you wouldn't make the same mistake and you can get maximum success for all your efforts. If you're about to apply for the visa or you're just putting your evidences together, you need to watch this video, take notes, and try to follow up. Hi everyone, I'm literally Imelda, and on this channel we do all things tech, lifestyle, fashion, and the in-betweens. And if you're into such things, don't forget to click the subscribe button and stay put to enjoy the video. I'll be buttressing more on Tech Nation because that was the route or the endorsing body I used. Tech Nation highlighted a lot of criteria they expect to see in every evidence that you provide. Now, most people go over their heads when they are putting their supporting evidences together, but I'll be highlighting the 5 things you need to note so that you don't make these 5 mistakes. The first mistake a lot of people make when applying for the Tech Nation Global Talent Endorsement is that they provide insufficient evidence or evidence that do not buttress the role they are applying for under the tech sector. Now, we all understand that Tech Nation requires certain criteria to be met, and for you to showcase that you are a promising leader or talent in the tech sector, and this has to be showcased thoroughly in the evidences you provide, clear and concise. And in this, most people do not provide enough supporting documents to back up their points. Most people just throw hints here and there and expect Tech Nation to literally manufacture what they are trying to say. But let me tell you, if any evidence of yours provided makes Tech Nation wonder or have to assume you're already under the red segment, and the red segment means you probably would be denied, because they do not want to do the extra work for you. They expect you to do the extra work and ensure that everything you are highlighting or buttressing on your evidences is clear, concise, and straight to the point, and they can easily get what you're trying to talk about from your story, from each evidence provided. I also think that a lot of applicants underestimate the amount of detail and depth required in each evidences they are presenting. You can't just say, I worked in company A and I did this, and that. That is just like stating on your CV what you did in whatever companies you've worked for. That is not enough. You're applying at a global scale and you want to be seen as a global leader or a promising leader in your tech field. So you need to go in depth. You need to bring out that uniqueness of whatever you've done in any company you've worked for and why this should be recognized as a global entity. You're literally trying to sell yourself in a global scale. It's not applying for a job. I noticed that a lot of people, when they're applying for the Tech Nation Global Talent Endorsement, is almost like a CV. Most of their applications or supporting documents or evidences look like a CV. Like, oh, I worked in company A, I worked in company B, I did. No. It's not a CV. You are actually trying to sell yourself in a global scale, and you need to do that properly. So avoid not going in depth and making your evidences clear and concise, because Tech Nation would easily give you a no. I'll also add to the first point by saying that it is essential to show or tell Tech Nation how your work or your role or whatever you're adding to the company you work for or have worked for stands out in a global scale. Have you received awards, recognition in this area, and how does this recognition tally in a global scale? Is it something worth mentioning? And if it is, do not fail to mention it. Sell yourself. Do not sell yourself short, because they will help you go lower. But if you sell yourself well and you have your evidences tally and your story tallies with what you're saying, trust me, you're on a good path to get endorsed. The second main mistake a lot of people make when applying for the Tech Nation endorsement visa is poor quality or irrelevant letters of recommendation. I can't even stress the second point enough, because it's clearly written that Tech Nation precisely is so in love, or they really want to see 3 main letters of recommendation, and then you can have other subsequent letters of recommendation to back up your other points in your optional criteria sections. But in your mandatory, you need 3 mandatory letters of recommendations from hierarchy individuals in your field or sector that you've worked with or who knows your work. Now, you can't be shabby about this aspect, because this is one of the main grounds for rejection. I have known a lot of people who have applied for the Tech Nation visa. Everything went well except reject their letters of recommendation. Technician believed that it wasn't strong enough, or the people who recommended them didn't sell them as well as they sold themselves in their own personal statement. So you can be selling yourself so high in your personal statement, but if the person who recommended you didn't sell you as well as you sold yourself, technician will see disparities in this and might likely reject your application, and you do not want that. So you need to explain to your references that you need them to sell you as well as you've sold yourself. We're not saying they should lie on your behalf or you should lie on your own application or personal statement, but you need to ensure that whatever your references are telling technician that you did and how well you did and the input you put in must tally in terms of weight with what you two are saying. So I've seen a lot of scenarios whereby someone's referee made mention that they did their job well to a satisfactory level and they are fine with technician endorsing them, and in the person's personal statement the person is like, I did this, I carried the company from here to here, but because it wasn't highlighted by their referee, technician felt that the person was probably blowing trumpets or breeze to the air that nothing as such was done, because if your so-called referee didn't make that statement as well in their own reference for you, probably you are lying. So you need to ensure that whatever you're selling on your personal statement for yourself tallies with what your referee are saying about you. Also, to add to the second point, generic or vague letters do not cut it. So I noticed that some people's referees will tell them to formulate the letters and give them to sign. Now the dangers with that is that, let's say you want 5 people to reference you and 5 of them have told you to write the letters of references and give them to sign up for you. The problem with that is that because you're the same person writing these 5 letters of references, you might likely do the same template for the 5, and technician would clearly observe this and deny you immediately because they see this as plagiarism or falsehood. They want to ensure that your referees are the ones writing this letter. So in a situation where your referees are like, you should write the letter, you should draft a letter and send it to them to read through and sign off on, you need to be careful not to create template letters, vague letters that just look alike. The third mistake a lot of people make when applying for the Technician Global Talent Endorsement is misalignment with technician specific criteria. Now, a technician has specific criteria that they are focused on, such as innovation, leadership, and potential. Most people do not really read in the lines to realize that this is one of the main keywords technician really wants to get from each person's or each applicant's application. Now, if you're saying things like, I worked in a company and I did that and that is just stating the role. Technician is searching in all your evidences for things like the leadership role you played in these activities you performed in the companies. They are searching for the innovative ideas you brought forward in the role you are doing or you did. They are looking for the potentials you have in the forthcoming future in that same role. So if whatever you are submitting as an evidence doesn't highlight this one of these 3 major keywords that technician has literally repeated in their criteria, you might not get it, because they want to see an individual who has the potential to come forth into the UK and do more big things. They want to see an individual who has leadership potentials. They want to see an individual also who has the ability to create innovative ideas and run with it to see it to fruition. So if your application evidences aren't buttressing on these key criteria, keywords that technician is searching for, you might get denied. Also, adding to the third point is that a lot of people do not clearly state what they hope to come and do in the UK, and honestly the next percentage of rejections always comes from this problem. So you need to clearly tell technician what you are hoping to come and deliver if given the endorsement. Nobody wants a bum. Nobody wants someone that would be a liability to them. So does technician. So technician, if they're going to endorse you, they want to know that you're coming to give your best. You're coming to display excellence in the UK. So you need to tell them, if given this endorsement, what do you hope to do in the next 5 years, in the next 2 years? Where do you hope to take your career expertise to whilst in the UK, and how do you hope to grow the sector you're in the UK using the unique skills, expertise and experiences you have? You need to clearly state this in your evidences because they are really looking for this. And where you should state this is in your personal statement. The personal statement, to me, I believe, is like a place to sell yourself well. Make sure you do not forget to dot the I's and cross the T's, because if you sell yourself short to your personal statement, just forget about it. So please ensure you make technician understand what expertise you're bringing to the UK and how you hope to develop the sector in terms of numbers, in terms of finances. Just give a presumptuous number, but try to be realistic. That's what I would say. The fourth mistake a lot of people make when applying for the technician global talent endorsement is overemphasis on past achievements and less emphasis on future plans. Now, it's great and good that you might have won so many awards in your past and done so many great things in your past, but technician will be looking at it and wondering if you are still doing the same great works right now as we speak. Nobody wants someone who dwells in the past. It's great and good if you were a good runner in the past, but if you're no more a good runner now, you cannot boast and say you're a good runner now. So technician will be searching through your evidences submitted, searching through your personal statement to look for key words and the story that will make them understand that you didn't only just win just achievements or awards in the past, but right now you are still winning and achieving more in your career. So you need to ensure that you do not just dwell on all your past achievements, but also state what you're doing right now and how what you're doing right now is adding value, all the awards you're getting from what you're doing right now, and the prospective achievement, what the inputs you're putting right now in your company would make in the nearest future. They want to see this because it helps them understand that you're not just a person that dwells on past achievements and goes down the drain, but you're a person that keeps on getting better, applying innovative skills, and just keeps climbing in their career. The fifth, or the last but not the least mistake a lot of people make when applying for the technician endorsement visa is that the story or the narrative do not cohere. So the narrative lacks cohesiveness, and then the application has so many inconsistencies. So for instance, you have worked in 5 companies, but you do not want to put in all the 5 companies you work for, because probably if you're saying you're a developer, only 3 out of the 5 companies you've worked for tallies with your developer role right now. So you don't want to put the extra 2. But some people would put, oh, I worked as a developer, I worked as this and that. That's fine. But make sure that as you go along with your application and the evidences you're showcasing, everything makes sense and the story adds up, because you can't say you were a civil engineer in 2022 and then in the same 2022 you're telling them you became an electrical engineer at some point on your CV, but your personal statement is saying another thing. So they'll be wondering, how many things did you do in 2022 and why are you not carrying us along? Why are you just mentioning them in different areas? So the story does not really align because there's no continuity. But if you want to put all that, you must really sell the story well. So you might be like, okay, by March 2022 I stopped being a civil engineer and I decided to further my career as a petroleum engineer in the following month, which was April. That is why I now then worked at company AAAA as a petroleum engineer. But if you just say I was a civil engineer here, then petroleum engineer here, and the story does not really add up to make sense, technician will feel that you are lying and there's so much falsehood and lack of narrative cohesiveness in your story and in your evidences, and would reject you. And you don't want that to be you. So please, I hope that these few points I've highlighted as the main mistakes a lot of people make when applying for the technician global talent endorsement makes a lot of sense. And in case you're about to apply or you're putting together your evidences, I hope this is useful to you and you make those corrections and give your application the best shot. And with that, I wish you success, good luck, and see you at the very top. Till then, I'm literally Imelda, and if you have not subscribed, don't forget to hit the subscribe button, turn up the bell notification so that you'll be the first to know when I post a new video, and stay blessed. Bye.